Science tells us that decisions made in moments of anger have a much higher chance of being wrong than decisions made in normal situations. This is because at that time our brain works through emotion, not through careful reasoning. That is why the philosopher Aristotle said anyone can become angry, but to be angry at the right time, for the right reason and in the right amount, that is true skill. But the real question is, have we truly achieved that skill? We often fail to realize how a moment of anger can destroy relationships built over many years, or how one emotional decision can change the direction of an entire life. Today's story will show us this. Having power alone does not make a person strong. True strength comes from the ability to control one's emotions. Once upon a time, there was a powerful king. He was intelligent, but he had a major weakness. He lost his temper very quickly. Even over small matters, he made decisions driven by emotion. Many times, people received harsh punishments for minor mistakes. One day, the king's childhood teacher arrived in the kingdom. Years ago, this very man had taught the king not only lessons from books, but also lessons about life. The teacher was invited to the royal palace for dinner. That evening, they sat together eating and talking about old times. Suddenly, a fly fell into the king's soup. Seeing the fly, the king immediately became furious. He shouted angrily, "What is this, a fly in my soup? How can you be so careless?" The servant, trembling with fear, replied, "Your Majesty, there was no fly in the soup when it was served." But the king's anger did not calm down. Seeing the situation, the childhood teacher spoke gently. "Your Majesty, please think for a moment. The servant did not bring the fly. It must have fallen in later." The king replied irritably, "Teacher, you don't understand. Even small things like this ruin my mood." The teacher smiled softly and said, "Your Majesty, the fly did not destroy your peace. Your reaction did. One who cannot rule over his own emotions can never truly rule over anything else." These words made the king fall silent for a moment. Then the teacher continued, "Decisions made in anger or extreme joy are often wrong. Before making a decision, give yourself some time. Do not let emotions control you. You must control your emotions." The king said in a low voice, "But I try." "Yet I still cannot control my anger," the teacher replied. "Because you have never practiced control? Patience is also a habit. Just as strength requires exercise, controlling emotions also requires practice." These words left a deep impact on the king's mind. In the days that followed, he learned to pause before reacting. He realized that when the mind is calm, thoughts become clear, and clear thinking leads to better decisions. After some time, the king noticed that he was much calmer than before. Making decisions in court became easier. People began to respect him more than they did earlier. Not only the kingdom, but his own life became more peaceful and happier. One day, the king went to his childhood teacher and said, "Your words have changed my life. Now I understand. True strength is not in anger, but in control." The teacher smiled kindly and said, "Your Majesty, you are not alone in this struggle. Many people cannot control their emotions and act under emotional pressure. What you have learned, share this message with others. Encourage them to practice calmness and patience so they too can live better lives." These words left a deep mark on the king's heart. The story does not end here because this lesson is not only for a king but for all of us. If we observe our lives carefully, we will see that in this pressure-filled world, we easily get caught in stress and anxiety. But by becoming aware of our emotions and learning to control them, we can take charge of our emotional responses and bring positive changes into our lives. Emotions are natural and unavoidable, but when we react without thinking, they can become harmful. Acting in haste under emotional influence often leads to regret later. Therefore, the first step in emotional control is identifying our emotional triggers. Emotional triggers are things that make us angry or disturbed. They differ from person to person. These triggers can be events, memories, or even certain words or actions. For example, criticism may be a trigger for some people. They may become angry when criticized at work or stuck in traffic. Others may feel deep sadness when something reminds them of past pain or loss. To recognize our emotional triggers, we need self-reflection. When we feel emotionally overwhelmed, we should stay present in the moment and observe those emotions without judgment. Using mindfulness techniques such as breathing exercises or meditation can help calm us down. When facing a trigger, we should pay attention to our thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations. This helps us understand how we react and how we can change that reaction. There are also other ways to manage emotions, such as taking a short break, talking to a friend, or doing something relaxing. Most importantly, we must remember that emotions are temporary. They come and they go. By staying calm and patient, we can face life's difficult situations without being ruled by emotions. And only then can we live a life that is free from regret, more fulfilling, peaceful, and balanced.